Yo guys, welcome to the video. This is Josh or Milky, and we're 2 days away now from the Torchlight season start. Or, I mean, look at the date of release and extrapolate if it's past that. The Overrealm season, it does look really good. There's a lot of new stuff, and I decided to go with a brand new skill that we don't really know all that much about. There are a few ums and ahs about how this skill could function and certain mechanics within the skill. So don't consider this video as a sales pitch in any way to get you to play the build. It's just more of a check-in. Hi, I'm playing this. If you want to play, you've played my builds before, you like following what I do, this is how I'm going to be starting. There will be no kind of concrete idea on what I'll be doing in deep space levels of build or like super juiced profound. I have ideas, and I do have a concept that is in this this build guide that will be linked below. I do have a concept of how I want to take the build and why I think it's going to be good, you know, just the numbers, how they come out, and how it could potentially work if all things go as planned, and what I could do if not. So that build idea is based around the new Serpent Beam skill, which if we come in here, I have gone to the trouble of hyperlinking a few things in here if you want to come in and find it. It's basically a combo skill, and a combo skill has 3 parts. It has the starter, the second starter, or the mid one, it's called a starter as well, and then the finisher. So you have, and this goes through a cycle as you cast it, and it goes 1, 2, 3. And you can get additional combo finishers, so in that case it would go 1, 2, 3, 3. And 3 would happen a number of times equal to the number of finishers you have. I'll try not to get too hung up on the details because this is all written on the sheet. But essentially, you can then modify how many combo points you gain, which is what you gain for combo starter 1 and 2. So the more combo points you get, the more damage you're going to deal. You can see the formula here. Basically, the finisher damage is your base damage multiplied by 1, plus your combo points times your combo finisher amplification. All this to say, combo points had a lot of damage, so an additional vector to scale damage compared to normal, and then obviously combo finishers as well, being another way to scale it. So we've got that combo finisher amplification, and we've just got more combo finishers also adding damage to the build. So that's why we're going to go, that's why the skill and the archetype works, and will hopefully do damage. Then we have the canvas supports for this skill. There's multiple different routes you can go for this. There is a spell burst route, but I did understand that Bing is quite spell burst aligned, so I wanted to stay away from that and hopefully, you know, navigate into some territories that aren't as popular so that I can purchase the things for my build without, you know, paying an arm and a leg. So I'm going to go with the Serpent Beam Barrage and the Serpent Beam Twin Blaze because these have pretty good synergies. What Serpent Beam Barrage does is for every +1 beam, you will get 39 to 40% chance for the combo finisher to fire an additional beam. So repeat an additional time, essentially. How the combo finisher works, basically, you'll apply a debuff to all the mobs with your starter skills, and then the finisher will hit any mob with the debuff. So doing that again will hit all the mobs that have the debuff an additional time, and then that can go up to however many beams you've got, of course. In this build, we're going to get 6, which would be an extra 240% chance, so 3.4 on average repeats of our combo finisher. And then we have Twin Blaze, which comes in and says, when casting the combo finisher of the supported skill, creates a fire snake at your side that recasts the finisher once. So don't know exactly how this is going to work with the... This is one of the things where I said I don't know exactly how it's going to work. Does the snake inherit the stuff from Barrage? Does the snake work, or is it just because you cast it once but it repeated? It only counts as 1 cast, so the snake doesn't. Who knows? If it does work this way, then it's quite close to just a 2x multiplier, but we'll have to see exactly how that works. If it doesn't, it's still not the worst. You just go from a 6.8 to what would be, like a 4.4 or something like that. Not 4.4, sorry. 4.8, whatever it is. Either way, the numbers are still good, but not as extreme as I've got written down here. And anything I do find, I will, of course, share on this page. I'll update everything. There'll be codes, all that. So looking pretty good. Beams also have additional effects for this skill, as in they can change how much the traveling, the chains propagate, the refractions for the skill. So you're going to get more coverage, more off-screening, more clear. Which is going to be very, very nice. And then the beams obviously come with additional damage, and the supports have additional damage too. So a lot of compounding things amongst, you know, the beam stuff, coming out to about an 8.2x, assuming the Twin Blaze works how I think it does. Then we have a new one that's Affliction. So the Ethereal Prisms add a new layer of customization. Essentially, you can replace your major talent with one of these new Prism major talents, and the one that I like the look of here is called Escalating Affliction. And what that's going to do is normally Affliction grants 1% additional damage over time per point of Affliction on the target. So as that ramps up to 100, eventually you're going to be doing double damage. But this, boom. Editor, yeah, since filming this video, XD have gotten back from their holidays and released additional addendums to the patch notes. Important to mention that escalating Affliction's values have been changed. It doesn't significantly affect the build, but it does reduce the overall damage you'll gain from escalating Affliction. Anyway, back to the video. That's how it basically works, but then it also benefits from stuff like minimum and maximum damage, so you can raise that 5% top end to much more, and then you also can benefit from lucky damage bonuses. So how do we do that? Well, Impermanence is going to grant an additional 40% additional max damage, taking that 5 up to 7 or whatever it is, and then that 1 down to 0.6, which essentially just provides a lot more damage. And then Queer Angle gives us that lucky damage, so that we're going to roll the value twice. That 0.1 to 5, or in this case 0.06 to 7. You're going to roll that twice. And all the math is on here for you. But essentially, once you get all that, and then you use the True Flame major talent in the Warlord tree that says when an enemy is ignited, 60% of the additional bonus to damage over time taken from Affliction is also applied to your hit damage. So that's going to mean that before you consider Affliction effect, because of course you can scale all this with Affliction effect, and we will, 281% additional damage just from True Flame and all these things that we've spoke about. But that will mean we've got to get a blended modifier on our belt, either being Queer Angle or Impermanence, because we're not in these trees, so we have to get one of these from somewhere. And then a Pedigree to get the other mod, and then hopefully other stuff as well. That's how we're going to do that. Applying Affliction should be pretty easy. There is an updated Kismet that applies a ton of Affliction. It can apply up to 80. So it's going to be very easy to kind of reach 100 Affliction basically immediately on targets, which is going to make map clear a lot better. You can't just stick with like the lower values for like 24 Affliction per second, which is what you get from the Warlord tree, and that's fine, right? But it would mean you have to be in combat with the mob for 4 seconds to get the maximum effect. Whether or not this is an issue, if you're doing overkill damage, it doesn't matter, right? Because you'll only need that against the boss. But it will feel nice to have this Mercury Ball. Then these last two, I'm not 100% on yet. There's a few more stacking things that I'm not 100% certain on. Auras we're definitely going to do. Just Lone Walkers are just that good, right? And we're probably going to go yes, so that's it. But on the off chance we don't go yes, then strength stacking really comes into play. Tenacity Blessings come into play because, of course, we've got the gloves, which grant additional fire damage per tenacity blessing, as well as some flat damage. And then strength, obviously, granting 7% additional damage from the helmet. And it also means that you no longer care about scaling with int, right? Because it becomes essentially a strength skill because of the helmet. It's very good that way. And then automation is a big problem with this build because you can't use a spell burst activation medium. So you're pretty limited in what you can do. My solution in the end game is probably going to be to go Wind Rhythm, but these are notoriously expensive. So we'll have to play it by ear on that one. Initially, you will be self-casting. There is also a new motionless activation medium that you get from, I believe they said you get just for completing the campaign. And this will cast your skill for you automatically when you're stood still. So, I mean, you still have to stand still, but you don't have to press a button if that's of consequence to you. And yeah, that's the build idea. So that was a big chunk of this video, just going over the build idea. Campaign leveling. Now, this is something that I've been practicing quite a lot just to kind of refine it, get it down. I got the time around 1 minute, 1 hour, 8 minutes, which for Gemma 3, I think is pretty good. A lot of the time that you lose versus like Aethea is in Act 1. Just hard to make it up compared to Hunt and Abomination. But yeah, this build absolutely slaps through the campaign. You won't need much help doing this. You follow everything I've got written down here. You do the troves the amount of times that I've stated. You try and get the items that I listed, but honestly, like I've had runs where I've got none of the items. It's been absolutely fine. Even got a filter for you to use that will highlight items based on the area level that you're in to show you the best weapon bases, as upgrading your weapon is the most important thing during the campaign. It'll also show you relevant armor bases, move speed boots, and make sure you don't miss your memories. So if you want any of that, just come into the campaign leveling section. And then when can we swap to Serpent Beam, you're probably asking. I thought we were playing a Serpent Beam build, Milky. Well, when you get to time mark 3, you'll start dropping staffs and wands. Not super commonly, but you can. So you may be someone who has to wait till like Time Mark 4, but from Time Mark 3 onwards, you'll start dropping these things, so you can swap over. And I'm pretty sure you're going to be strong enough to be able to swap as soon as you like, but I did include some things in here that you could maybe wait for, depending on availability, in order to swap to combo. But I think it's going to be absolutely fine, just to swap initially. The skills, everything is in here. Talents, basic gear, some maybe uniques you can look out for, stat priority to get on your slots that I didn't provide legendaries for, slate mods that you can look for, even though at this point you're probably not going to be getting that many slates, hero memories for things to look for, prism mods that are great to find, pets to use, you name it, it's there. And then there's also one thing, this page, if you think about using this, these trees are pretty good. They have a lot of move speed in them. They obviously have this steady accumulation node, which is a new node that provides a combo point finisher amplification, which essentially is just a more multiplier to your combo finisher damage. And it also provides an additional combo point, which, as I showed in the build idea page, is very, very strong. But the problem is you basically lose a ton of defense. You do lose damage going this way. But does that matter until much later on? I don't know. So it could be better to level or swap to a hunting tree rather than a knowledge tree that I have in the actual talent section. I just simply don't know. There is an outside chance that this setup is good enough to make up for the lack of defense and damage, and therefore you benefit exclusively from the increased like movement speed and cast speed, so the build's just going to feel better. If that is the case, I'll let you know. I will try going this, and if it's good, then I'll make this like the priority. But as for right now, this is the much safer option where you're going to have much more damage. And eventually you would have to come out of hunting anyway, because in order to activate the prism that we want to activate, you need a knowledge tree to place it in. That's how they work. They can only replace certain major talents in certain trees. So eventually you're going to have to be this setup regardless. And then from there, there'll be codes. Codes. Also, I've included the start of maybe some farm strategies that I'm going to try out and share. This is my list of like things that I could try, that I could think of even bothering to try. Yeah, looking forward to the season. Hopefully, this guide will help you get well underway, and you can keep up with me or keep on, you know, a steady pace behind, so that you can, we'll call it trickle down codes. As I get to a point and iterate on the build, you'll get the build code, and we'll do that, and I'll pull you along until we get to SS20 and beyond, hopefully before Path of Exile comes out. Yeah, great talking to you all. I do like just doing these like yappy videos. I know I don't do them as much as I like to, and in every video I say I should do them more. So I'm not going to say that this time. I'm just going to say that I enjoyed this one. I'd love to hear from you. Come check out the stream on League Start. There will be like 10, I'll be giving away 10, what they call season passes on League Start as well. I'm going to be doing a subathon, super long stream. So check that out if you want to. Don't want to shove it down your throat. But yeah, I'll be there. I'll see you next time. Bye.